Hello everybody and welcome back finally to another video. Sorry we have taken a little break, is because we just needed to have a bit of a rest before the advanced and quick lead up to the Rings of Power Season 2, which surely will be beginning soon now, starting with San Diego Comic-Con, where we will have all coverage. But since we haven't uploaded in a bit, there's been a lot of news, so this is going to be a video just summarizing and covering all the latest stuff and news surrounding the Rings of Power Season 2. So yes, again, a lot to discuss, and we'll be breaking it down for you guys a little bit as well. But this video is more just meant to be a summary of everything that has happened over the last month. So make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date. But without further ado, let's get right into it. So one of the first big pieces of news was finally the confirmation of Círdan the Shipwright, who is of course the master of the Grey Havens, and we learn of course that Amazon actually released this in their press release, that he is an original bearer of Narnia, one of the Rings of Power. And interestingly, in this season we will learn he will also serve as a master to Elrond. From our leaks, we didn't learn too much about him, but we did reveal that he would be in episode 1, and also that he is potentially going to be angry with Galadriel and Elrond in episode 1 as well. And it will be interesting to see what he is angry about. And also this picture of all the elven characters putting forward their rings is pretty sure that the one with the blue costume is now indeed Círdan. Círdan will be played by Ben Daniels, most well known recently for shows like Foundation, etc. So yes, he's a really good casting. He of course has the beard. His hair is actually not too long, but it is interesting. Again, I'm not too much of a fan of the costume still, but we'll have to wait and see. However, new character reveals does not stop there, as we finally had an idea of who Ciarán Hinds will be playing, as the showrunners confirmed that he will be playing a wizard from Rhûn who will be hunting down the stranger, played by Daniel Wayman. So yes, indeed, we now have confirmation that Ciarán Hinds is indeed playing a wizard from Middle-earth. Could he be an Istari, and what wizard could he play? Well, the showrunners did say some quite interesting things that I will show right now. One of the showrunners stated, quote, "One of the things that's been fun about that is Rhûn is really a blank canvas. There are little hints. There's talk about magic cults and talk about the stars being strange. We of course know this because of Tom Bombadil's house. At the top there is that constellation, but as we continue, and rumours of wizards having adventures in Rhûn that may or may not have gone well." So this is very interesting because, again, for one of our old leaks, we said that the showrunners had gotten rights to the blue wizards going east, as you can see on screen here, and now they're hinting at, of course, their adventures of wizards who travel to Rhûn not going well. And of course we never knew the true conclusion of the story of the blue wizards in the east. So is this a link to the stranger maybe blue being one of the blue wizards and Ciarán Hinds being another one? Well, we'll have to wait and see, but some very interesting quotes and comments from the showrunners. We'll have to wait till August 29th to find the answer to the true story. The showrunners have been saying quite a lot recently, because the news doesn't end there, as Patrick McKay revealed the opening of the Rings of Power Season 2, as it starts off with, quote, "We open in the darkness, an orc walks in, and we see there are thousands of orcs gathered. He's about to be crowned, pitching his vision of Middle-earth, and right before they lay the crown on his head, his right-hand man, Adar, turns it upside down and stabs him in the back. It's the assassination of Sauron." So this is very interesting, and we have further information that original form Sauron, the Sauron giving the speech in this scene here, is being played by Jack Lowden. Now halfway through, let's have a look at a few new interesting photos. So the first one we have is finally a new look at Gil-galad, who for season 1 and season 2 we haven't really seen much of, or his presence be that big. So it's nice that we have got a picture of him. It looks like he might be writing a letter. Of course we know that during the Second Age, Tarmin Eldor sent a letter to Gil-galad about the threat of Sauron, so maybe they're doing a take on that somehow here as well. Next up, we have a picture of Oronde, which looks like to be Pelage, thanks to this analysis here from our set photos from ages ago. And it looks like, again, yeah, his storyline will be taking place and he will be one of the central characters that will lead us to one of the new locations, which is Pelage, which will be exciting. And finally, it's quite a low quality picture, but we do have a photo of Elendil looking like he is chained up in a prison. It looks like season 2 is going to take quite a toll on Elendil's character, because firstly, of course, from my leaks, we know that episode 5 he rides away from the city. We know there's something bad that happens in Numenor at the end of the season, and now it looks like he's locked up here. Is it a continuation of the Faithful versus the Kingsmen? Is it something linked to that? Well, we will just have to wait and see. But sticking with Numenor for a little bit, we have quite a little interesting quotes from Cynthia Addai-Robinson and Tristan Gravel. The first one being that Gravel reveals that he's done a huge amount of background research into political theory to inform the character, including reading up on leaders like Henry Kissinger and Charles de Gaulle, reading books by former foreign correspondent Tim Marshall, and a book by David Fry titled Walls That Left a Big Impression. And he says this quote here as well, where some interesting parts being, so when you build these walls, your reputation inside those count for nothing in the outside world, and so it's up to you to build that out again. And there comes a fear, I think, that there's a lot to lose. So interesting to see how Tristan Gravel's Phadazon ends up in season 2. Cynthia Addai-Robinson states that Numenor is dangerously divided upon her return from the unpopular war, and Miriel will struggle to navigate the chasm. Her biggest threat are those who have been, quote, corrupted in a quest to gobble up power in her island kingdom. Conversely, Tristan Gravel, Phadazon, tells me that there's a, quote, a cleaning up of the image of Numenor after what happened, and he takes it upon himself to do the cleaning. But, quote, do ends justify means? Gravel wonders. So yes, again, as mentioned earlier, the Faithful versus the Kingsmen whole dynamic looks like it's going to potentially start exploding soon. So it'll be interesting to see how that plans out. Next up, we have some very exciting and interesting news around Tom Bombadil. And the first bit being that a quarter of Tom Bombadil's dialogue in the Rings of Power Season 2 is straight from the books. Then the big question here is, what do they mean by the books? That of course is the Lord of the Rings and its appendices, and of course most of his dialogue in there is actually poems and him singing. So it'd be interesting to see if they incorporate lines from the poems and singing and rhyming into his dialogue. And we also know some of his first interactions with the stranger, where it's, one of the moments I love best about the season is when the stranger asks, "Who are you?" and Bombadil just says, "Eldest." He's wacky and sings songs, but when he says that, you get the sense of, oh, he's been around for thousands of years. So very, very interesting. And this is also their take on Tom Bombadil. So it looks like they're trying to mix up a quite unserious, jokingly, almost vibrant nature we saw in the Lord of the Rings to this more mixed up, straight up attitude that he might switch to throughout to show his gravitas and age and time in Middle-earth, which has been quite long. So again, very, very interesting to see that. We also had a little interesting piece from Den of Geek, who said after meeting the showrunners, they came to the conclusion that the creation of the One Ring won't happen in season 2, which is very interesting. Of course, this isn't straight from the showrunner's mouth, and this is their interpretation of what they heard from them and what they saw on set, but it's still an interesting thing to raise the discussion of, will the One Ring be forged in the Rings of Power season 2? Let us know what you think in the comments below. So as we lead up to the Rings of Power Season 2, it has been very interesting to see the timeline of how much they're actually quite revealing around the show. So it seems like compared to Season 1, they weren't revealing, they were being quite secretive, but right now they've done a bit of a 180, because some of the details, like having episode 1's opening be revealed in such detail and length, is very, very interesting indeed. So we know that we also have some information around the presence of the Lord of the Rings on Prime at San Diego Comic-Con. So on Thursday there is an exclusive influencer and content creator event and press event on the Thursday. Then on Friday at, I believe, 11 or 11ish San Diego time is the Hall H panel. I believe it's Hall H, but it's going to be the panel and showcase where we'll probably see new footage, maybe even a trailer as well, which seems most likely. And then there's also a meet and greet afterwards as well with the cast with the One Ring, and I believe a party as well. So yes, a lot to see, a lot to discuss, and a lot to look forward to over the coming weeks around the Rings of Power Season 2 in San Diego, and I'm sure after that stuff will probably start properly kicking off, as we will just be away, probably under a month away from August 29th, which is the 3-episode premiere of the Rings of Power Season 2. So yes, last year they had a 2-episode premiere. It's going to be 3 episodes dropped on August 29th. So yes, a lot to discuss and see. So very excited for that. Let us know what you think in the comments below. We will be carrying on and uploading more videos again, and discussions and breakdowns, so let us know what you think. But thank you guys for watching, really appreciate that. Make sure to like and subscribe. But until the next video, my friends, goodbye.